Hi, everybody. So in this video here, we're going to do just an example of dividing polynomials. And so the question I'm looking at here is 1 plus x minus x squared divided by x minus 1. Now, because I'm dividing by a binomial that's in the form of x minus a, I was going to say there, and there's no coefficient in front of the x, okay? The easiest thing for me to do here is to apply synthetic division to this, okay? So I could be using polynomial long division, but again, it's the form of my divisor that makes me want to choose synthetic division. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set up my little box here. What I put on the top here are the coefficients of the dividend, but in order. So I've got this 1 plus x minus x squared. I'm going to change that to negative 1x squared plus 1x plus 1. And now outside, I am going to put a value to represent the divisor here. So now what I do with this typically is I'm going to look at my divisor here, and I'm going to pick a value that makes that equal to 0. So I know that x minus 1 is going to equal to 0 when I put a 1 there. And I'm basically changing the sign. You're seeing an x minus a 1. I'm going to put a positive 1 there. You can do this either way. You could put a negative 1 there, but it just simply changes the operation that you do in just a couple minutes here. So let's take a quick look at the pattern. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that first term down, and that is going to become negative 1. And then what we do is we multiply. So we go 1 times that negative 1, and I'm going to put that negative 1 as a result right here. And now here's the trick. Because I changed the sign, because this went from x plus 1 to x minus 1 to x to plus 1 there. Sorry, I keep trying to say x there. Because I went from x minus 1 and I put the plus 1 there, I am going to add at this point. If you'd changed this, if you'd left the sign there as negative 1, if you put negative 1 in front here, then you would have been subtracting here. Either way, there's going to be this introduction of a negative one way or the other, either by changing the sign or by using subtraction here. So when I add those together, though, I'm going to get a 0. And then I do it again here. I'm going to take that 1, I'm going to multiply it by that 0, and I'm going to put a 0 there. And then once again, I add. And when you add, we're going to get 1 there. Okay, so now I've finished all my little columns of numbers. Remember, this represents my remainder, and this represents my quotient. So my quotient, which is typically going to be some sort of function of x, is going to be built up by a constant, and then this is the coefficient of the linear term. That's how you interpret it. Whatever's closest to the remainder there, that's going to be your constant. So it's going to be negative x plus 0, and you would just write that as negative x. And then my remainder is going to be, my remainder could be a function of x, but in this case, it's just the number 1. And there we go. Now, for me to put this as my answer up at the top here, because of the way my question is structured, because I've got 1 plus x minus x squared, when I divide that by x minus 1, I am going to get this quotient here of negative x plus, and what I've got left over here is I've got my remainder that still needs to be divided by x minus 1. This is just one way of writing the answer. There are other ways of writing your division statement, but because of how my question is asked, this is what I get here. So negative x plus 1 over x minus 1. You kind of have to figure out what it is that your teacher wants you to do, the form of writing the answer here. Some people are actually quite happy just to see you say, oh, it's negative, the quotient is negative x with a remainder of 1. In any case, that's how I would use synthetic division to do this division.